slow, but I can tell you guys that it's going to be really informative. So please try to stay till the end of the session. Since it's a recording, I request you guys to make note of your doubts, or if you didn't understand any concept, you can ask me at the end. I can repeat the concept as well as give an explanation to whatever doubts you guys are asking. So yeah, we'll start off the session. We'll start playing the recording. So guys, you try to stay here for 40 minutes. Hello everyone, welcome to IET Torsion SCULPT, a demo session on AutoCAD. My name is Soumya and I am from third year metallurgy. So in today's AutoCAD demo session, we will be brushing through all the basic concepts of AutoCAD, and I will be teaching you on how to draw some basic diagrams using the AutoCAD software. So first of all, I would like to congratulate all the first years who made it to NITK despite all the pandemic. I think it's a really great note of appreciation that I want to tell before I start this session. And we are trying our best so that you guys are up to date with all the technical skills that is needed during your first year. So in order to attend all our events and stay updated, do follow our IET NITK Instagram account, as well as join the Telegram link that we sent to you before. So let's just start off the session. I made a tiny PPT so that you guys can get a better notion on what exactly the software is. So what is AutoCAD? Full form is something like automatic computer aided designing. It's a popular software that's used to design 2D, 3D and 3D modeling. For all those people who are doing engineering graphics in physics cycle, they would be having a basic idea on why we do the designing in different aspects. So AutoCAD is just in simple words to say, AutoCAD software is just we'll be just using the easy concepts. It's a pretty simple software. There's nothing complicated in it. It's one of the most simplest software when it comes to designing. And yeah, I think it would be great if many people actually know AutoCAD. So general applications of AutoCAD is architecture, mechanical engineering, of course civil engineering. Mechanical engineers will generally learn AutoCAD in further years. And yeah, but we in NITK still stick to paper and pen to a certain extent when we do engineering graphics. So I hope that changes someday. So how do we download AutoCAD? We get the free version of AutoCAD that is available on Autodesk website. So you're supposed to register yourself on Autodesk as a student so that you get the student membership. You will get the free version for 3 years, and later on it's up to you if you want to keep it or not. Yeah, so what we will be learning today is it's the best session for those who are hearing and listening AutoCAD for the first time or seeing AutoCAD for the first time. I think this is a really ideal session for those people. It would be great if you write down all the shortcuts during the session so that you don't have to get confused while you're practicing AutoCAD. Any doubts? Yeah, please make a note and ask at the end. It would be great if you guys actually keep the session interactive at the end. I should have told this to you guys before. This is a recorded session. I was supposed to do this live, but yeah, I will still be in the meet. You can ask me any doubts at the end, or you can ask me if you guys want me to repeat any concept. I will do that as well. I'm sorry because I had to keep this recorded considering the internet glitches when I go live. So yeah. And at the end, what I want to say is AutoCAD is a baseline for designing on a professional platform. So basis. And if you want to practice any designing software, it's not the AutoCAD. No matter whatever designing software you practice, best way is just browse for videos on YouTube. Just browse for videos on YouTube. You get a number of them. See a couple of them. Try it out on your software. Practice it on regular basis. And I think in a couple of days you'll be you'll be good in the particular software that to learn. Yeah. So here, yeah. So here we are the AutoCAD software. So when you install AutoCAD, now you will have a welcome screen before this. So basically it just tells you about the default setting of the templates and all that. Keep all the settings default since you're a beginner. Unless if you are learning advanced level of AutoCAD, then you can change the default templates. But for now, let's just keep everything for default and click on start drawing. And once you get to this screen, so this is the screen face. I'll just brief you guys with what and all these panels are, what and all these tools are. So this is the application menu, which is common in almost every software, and quick access toolbar, which is customizable. And I'm pretty sure that you guys must be knowing all these things. So these are the different panels that we will be using for designing a 2D modeling. 3D or 3D modeling, these tools change accordingly. So for today, we're going to just take 2D. So this is the drawing model. So it's a pretty thing. I think I don't have to specify it again. So modify is used to modify the models. Annotation is basically how you want to represent the diagram. Basically, it has everything to do with dimensioning, how you want drawing, how at what length you want to dimension, or at what precision you want to dimension it. The annotation is used for that, and the rest of it is and these are the tabs where you can keep adding on if you want more, if you want to draw more models. Okay, so let's start. So this is the viewport. So what exactly the viewport is? It's where exactly you will be drawing the model. So over here we have the view cube. So view cube basically is used to change the direction. So in AutoCAD, as you get in further classes of your EG, you get to draw a machine or any design from different point of view, from the top view, from the right view, from the left view. So they will be asking you questions for you to draw it from different directions. So this is also similar thing. So when you keep clicking it, you can change it change your view accordingly. So this is the front view, right view, and you can keep changing it the way you want. And just in case if you want, and you can make it to whatever angle as well. And if you want to change it back to the default top view, you can just click on the view controls and press on top. You get back to your XY grid again. So this follows the universal coordination system. I hope you guys will have heard of it before. XY axis, XYZ axis. So this is the command line where you'll be writing down commands in order to draw your model. Usually these commands will be available on these panels as well, but it's according to your convenience. Certain things it is easier to type the command than to search for it, and certain things it's easier to take it from the panel itself than to type the command. So these are the layout tabs where you can use to resketch the model into a sketch form. So you can use these layouts. So this is the status bar. So the most important thing about the status bar is where these toggles are in blue color, that means that it's active. That means it's on. If it's not in blue color, that means it's off. So if I click on display drawing grid, the grid disappears and even the blue color disappears. So if I click on it, the blue is back. So blue specifies on and the rest of it is off. Okay, so I think I'm using a mouse basically, so it would be easier for me to zoom in and zoom out, or I can shift from one point to other point. I suggest if you guys want to do designing in the future, it would be easier if you have a mouse than to use the touch panel on your laptop. But then you can still use the laptop touch panel as well. But more convenient on the mouse. So yeah, I think this much brief information would be enough to start off for today's session. So we'll just start with the basic line. Like I said, AutoCAD is a pretty self-explanatory software. So immediately when you click on the command or when you click on the line, you specify your first point. So I specify my first point, I specify my next point, and then I draw a line, right? If I want to exit from this command, I click on escape. So the two most important keys on AutoCAD is escape and spacebar. Spacebar is the enter of AutoCAD. So whenever I say enter hereafter, it means that I'm clicking on spacebar. And the normal enter isn't doesn't always work on all the commands. So so if I just want to draw a line, I'll just click draw some random lines, and then I click on escape to escape from the command, to exit from the command. Now I want to erase the lines, so I'll just click on one of the lines. It gets selected. So there are two commands now, line and polyline. What is the difference between them? So I'll draw I just selected the polyline command, and I draw a polyline as well. So you see line and polyline both the same. So what exactly is the difference? So when I select a line, it just selects a part of it till where it breaks. But when I select a polyline, the whole thing gets selected. So that's the difference between a line and a polyline. So this makes sense when you draw huge models. I'm pretty sure in the future you won't be drawing zigzag lines like these. You'll be drawing huge models. So when you want to break down these polylines, now for example, I want to change this long line into what I did over here. So I'll put a command X enter. So like I said, enter over here is nothing but the space bar. So the first command that I use right now is explode. So when I click, when I put the command, it will ask you to select for the object. So I select this object, and now it's split into those separate lines, just like how it was selected over here. So this is a pretty simple concept, explode. So I hope you guys are noting down the shortcuts. So every tool which I am using here has a shortcut. For example, line is L enter, polyline is POL enter, circle is C enter, arc is A enter. Every tool that is there on the panel has a shortcut, but I suggest you use it would be easier to use the tools from this panel. So yeah, okay, so now I see that there are two different colors when I'm trying to select the field. So what is the difference between these two colors? So one, I have a green color area. So whenever anything comes under the green color area, it means that the thing is going to get selected. I don't have to select the whole thing for it to get selected. A part of the diagram, if it is a part of the green area, the whole thing gets selected. But then what is this blue? So blue is basically if I want this whole line to be selected, I need to include the whole line in the blue area. If I just keep a part of it, it won't get selected, like how it is in green. Whenever it's in green, a little small area of it also gets selects the entire line. But if I want to select it with blue area, the whole thing needs to be covered, then only it gets selected. Again, this makes sense when you draw complex models. It doesn't make sense when I just draw a couple of zigzag lines. So I hope you guys understood the difference between this green area and the blue area. Alright, so how do I erase this? Simple, just select the line, click on delete. Again, select the line, click on delete. If I want to delete the whole thing, Control A, delete. So my screen is clear. So I hope you guys understood how line works, how polyline, and what's the difference between those two, and what is green and blue area, and the explode command. Now let's get into the units part. So units is basically at what dimensions you want to draw your diagram. So I have set my AutoCAD scale at a really huge scale, so I'll be using huge dimensions so that it will be clear during this session, but you can adjust it accordingly. We all know units are of two types, metric and imperial. So metric is the centimeter, meter, kilometer, and imperial is basically feet and inches. So we will be using mostly the metric system, and The shortcut for the unit dialog box is UN enter. So immediately when you click on UN, you get the drop box. You can click on that, or you can click UN enter. So yeah, these are the drawing units. So what do you want? What are the specific settings that you have to be looking for? Is first is this, you have to change it to engineering. It would be easier if you change it to engineering. I suggest you just avoid fractional and scientific. Architectural also not really necessary for us, but I prefer engineering over decimal because the precision would be better. You can change the extent of your decimal point. I'll put it to 1 decimal point. This is in millimeters, so let it be in millimeters then. And then I click on OK. So yeah, it'll ask for the confirmation and I'll click on OK. I'm cool with it. So yeah, now I will draw a rectangle, and I want to draw a rectangle, but my line is not straight. So I want to make my line straight. One is I can just see the 0 degrees which is written on the screen. But to make things more simpler for me, I'll switch on the ortho mode. So ortho mode is in the status bar over here. It's a very important toggle that you're supposed to know. The shortcut for ortho mode is F8. So if you can just click on F8, you can use the toggle. You can use the ortho mode. So I can draw my rectangle. I'll set units to maybe 200. And then I'll make this 100. So make it 200 again. 300. Okay. So my rectangle is here. I'll exit from the command. I click on escape. How do I dimension this rectangle? I want to show people that okay, it's 200 by 100 units rectangle. So I go to annotation. Like I said, annotation is basically how you want to show your diagram. So I'll click on the linear dimensioning. So once the linear dimensioning is set, specify on one point. So I specify 1 point and I specify on the other point. And then when I raise it, yeah, you can pretty much see the dimension. Yeah, it's a little small. I will show you how to change the font and all the size later. So I can click on enter. Yeah, so one shortcut which you are supposed to be aware of is, if you want to use the same command over again, you don't have to go back to your panel and select the option all over like linear and go back, and select the option as well. One easier shortcut is just click on enter. That's nothing but spacebar. So if you click on spacebar, the command will be activated again. So I'll just keep clicking on spacebar and I'll be able to activate my command which I want to use. Okay, so this is the dimensioning. So you guys see, you cannot see the arrowheads, you cannot see the number. You're supposed to zoom in, it's pretty small. So how do you set those dimensions? So we are going to go to the dimensional style dialog box. The shortcut for that is D enter. So you can just see that. So the dimensional style manager opens. So this diagram which is shown over here can be taken as a reference for how your actual diagram should be seen. So I will click on modify and then I go to text. I want to change this text. So I will make it a little bigger. And then I go to symbols. I want to change the arrow size, so make it a little more bigger. And then I click on lines. I don't want these lines to be seen. I don't want these huge extensions to be seen. I want it to look different. So I will just click on this dialog box, fixed line extension line. So those will vanish. So I click on OK. Very important step right now. Please make a note of it. Please click on set current. If you don't click on set current and click directly on close, whatever changes you made, whatever things you have modified won't save. So just click on set current, close. So you see the changes much better than before. Yeah, you can change it accordingly. You can change the height if you want, and you can keep modifying it according to your wish. So I can keep drawing whatever diagrams I want. So I'll draw a triangle, and so I'll escape from it, go to linear dimension, click on the linear dimension, click one side, click on the other side. I'll be knowing the dimensions. Oh. So I want to dimension in this slanting part. So if I click from one corner to other corner, I can't measure the slanting part. It's either horizontal or it's only vertical. So how do I change the slanting part? So go to the drop box again, change it to align dimensions. So now if I click on one corner to the other corner, it measures. So now I just want to I want to measure the angle as well. So I click on angular, click on one side, click on other side, angle is seen. So this is how I dimension the triangle. I can keep drawing as many things as I want. I can draw a circle, and then I can dimension it as well, make it radius. Just click on the arc, you get the radius. Uh, Draw another circle, you can make the diameter, click on the diameter. Yeah, so this is how you get to draw the dimensions and do the dimensions. A pretty simple process, not very specific, but when it comes to engineering graphics, when you're in your class, yeah, that is a little difficult because the professors are very particular about how you draw your arrowheads and where you write the dimensions, where you make, how you write the dimension, what size you're writing the dimensions. Those things make huge sense for them. So you have to be careful when you are in EG, but in AutoCAD it's a very simple process. Okay, so that was all about how to do the dimensioning and the units part. So I taught you about lines. So now let's get to circles. So one simple way of just drawing a circle is C enter, circle command, and just specify your center and just drag and drop. And I think this is a very simple way. We would have learned this when we were doing paint as when we were kids. So it's the same thing. And now I want to draw a circle of specific radius, so I do 50 units. So yeah, I get the circle of 50 units radius. Now I want to draw a circle with a specific diameter. So how I'm going to change is, first I click C enter to get the circle command, and now I click on D enter. So now it'll ask me to specify my diameter. So I'll just make it 200 units. So I got my diameter. So if I just click on C enter and then specify my first point, or even click on this in the command box, my diameter, the command will again be reactivated. So I can just again click whatever unit circle I want and change it. And like I said before, how we can just dimension the circle by just going to the dimension circle dimension. You can just keep clicking on the circle, or you can just change it to diameter and specify it again. Yeah, it looks small, and I think I explained you guys on how you can change the you can modify the text size by using the dimensional style manager. So yeah, so this is how we draw a triangle. So sorry, circle. Now there are various options on drawing the circle. So even when I click C enter I see there is 3P, 2P, TTR. So 3P is basically 3-point circle, 2P is 2-point circle, and TTR is tan radius. It's already given over here. So what exactly is 3P, 2P? So I will just draw a triangle. And I'll also draw a straight line. So yeah, I think you guys would have already got an obvious idea about what exactly is 3P and 2P circle. So now I activate my circle command. I click on 3P over here. So there are two ways. Either I click on the 3P part on the command line itself, or I can separately type 3P enter. Both the ways the command will be activated. So specify your first point, I specify my first point, specify your second point, and now I specify my third point. Yeah, so here I have a triangle, a circle around a triangle with 3 points connected. Again, I activate my circular dimensioning, and then I get the radius of this. So similarly, I think you guys would have obviously got to know how to draw the 2-point circle. Just specify. Oh, sorry, I did not act. So what mistake I did over here is I just clicked on C enter and I did not select what kind of circle I want to do. I wanted to do a 2P circle, right? So I did not click that. So as soon as I just click on the circle command and just specify my first point, it will only activate towards radius and diameter. It won't change to 3P, 2P, or it doesn't give you that option. So in order to not repeat this mistake, so just click on C enter. So you get this. You are supposed to select it before you specify your first point. And then I select first point. I select my second point, and I got my circle, and again I dimension it. I'll use the diameter this time. Yeah. So this is how I get my circle. So now I see my page is a pretty, it's a little clumsy. I want everything to come under one screen. I want it to zoom out. So the shortcut for zooming out is Z enter. So I click on Z enter, and I have specific options that's given to me. I want the whole thing to come in one screen, so I just click on all. Yeah, so the whole whatever diagrams I've drawn right now is all seen clearly. So this is how we can we use the circle various variants of circles on AutoCAD. So similarly we have the rectangle also. So we'll work on rectangle right now. So you see, rectangle command is a very specific, it's very interesting in AutoCAD because it provides you a lot many options. So the shortcut for rectangle is REC enter, and yeah, specify your first point, draw a rectangle, drop it, you get a rectangle. Now I want to give specific dimensions to it. So I see I've been provided with 3 options: area, dimensions, and rotation. So I'll click on dimension, I'll click on whatever dimension rectangle I want, and I get the rectangle. But you have to note one thing is that this rectangle is not fixed, and if I click escape at this point of time, the rectangle won't be saved. So we need to be really careful about that. So I again click the same procedure what I'm doing the same procedure what I did before, and I get the rectangle. So by just in case you want to save this rectangle, just do one click on the mouse and the rectangle is saved. Please make a note of this because right now it seems very easy, but later on you actually tend to forget this really small step, and you know you unnecessarily going to create a chaos and unnecessarily waste your time. So it's very important, just click on the mouse before you exit from the command, or else the rectangle won't be saved. So I can do the dimensioning of this by just clicking on linear dimensioning, and yeah, so I can dimension it the way I want. Okay, so this is a rectangle. The other rectangle, according to area and rotation, is pretty self-explanatory. I guess area is you give the area and then you give the length and breadth of the rectangle, you get the rectangle. But be very careful, you're supposed to give specific length and breadth which gives the area that you have entered. You can't give a random area and a random length and breadth and expect the software to agree with it. You're just going to get an error message after that. It will just say invalid command. So you are supposed to give very specific, so you're supposed to be very specific about the dimensions that you're given when you're choosing the area option. For rotation, basically if you want this rectangle to be inclined at a particular angle, so you click on rotation and then you can incline the rectangle the way you want, and you can do the diagram. So let's see the other variants of the rectangle. So I have a couple of options that has been provided to me: chamfer, elevation, fillet, thickness, width. So let's just see what these are. So again, I see you have to be very specific when you are using such commands. See, if I, before I select any of these options and directly click on some corner point, those options disappear. So there are a specific amount of specific amount of commands that has been given before you click the enter and after you click the enter. So you're supposed to be careful about that as well. So I want to do chamfer. Chamfer is basically a rectangle which has chopped corners. So when you draw the rectangle with the chamfer, it basically looks like a non-dimensional polygon with 8 sides. So I'll just mention the chamfer distance. So I'll maybe make it 20. I'll make the second side also 20. So now I specify my first, and now you see my rectangle. This is the chamfer rectangle, basically chopped corners. So I want to dimension this, so I'll just dimension this, specify one corner, other corner, and then again click on this, specify one corner, other corner, and then I can see that 20 is given. So first one side is basically this. You saw I entered 20 twice, so one side is this, the other side is this. I can change it accordingly, according to the question that I get or according to the need for the modeling. So this is a chamfer rectangle. So another very important thing to note, that just by clicking exit, you are not exiting from the command. Now if I again click on rectangle command and again I randomly select a corner and draw, the chamfer mode is still activated. So I am supposed to deactivate chamfer. For that, I click on rectangle command, I click on chamfer again, and this time I should give my dimension, chamfer dimension as 0, and again give another chamfer dimension as 0. And now if I draw the rectangle, it's going to be normal. So this is very important concept. People generally forget this as well, so they'll just do a blind mistake and be wondering, why am I not getting the normal rectangle? I'm still on the previous command. Have I not exited or not? So you're supposed to make the 0, then only the rectangle will come. So I will finish with fillet then. So fillet is basically the rectangle will be having a circular corner, so a smoother corner. So basically it will be related to something with the radius of the rectangle. So I'll specify the radius of rectangle to be 40. And now I keep corner. So you see my rectangle has changed. So I can dimension this again using radius, because this is a part of a circle, so you are supposed to maintain it this way. And again I change this to linear and specify this from one corner, the other corner. Yeah, so this is how we draw the fillet rectangle. Again same, the fillet won't be exited, so you're supposed to go back to the rectangle, click on fillet, the command, and now you're supposed to make it 0. So you will get your rectangle back again. Alright, so yeah, again this is the most interesting part about the rectangle. The elevation is my favorite. So I click on elevation. So I specify the elevation of the rectangle. Let my first rectangle elevation be 0. So elevation is basically length. So when you're placing the rectangle, it will be placed from one on top of the other. So that's what elevation is. So you're supposed to specify the distance between the two rectangles when you're placing it from placing one on top of the other. So my first rectangle will be on the ground generally, so I'll just make it 0. So I draw my rectangle. Again, click on the rectangle command, click on elevation. This time I'll make it 25, and I'll draw my second rectangle. And again, go back to rectangle mode, go to elevation, click on 50, draw another rectangle inside. Uh, Basically, you're not able to see anything right now. You can ask me why is she drawing consecutive rectangles? Yeah, because you're seeing it from the top, so you can't see the elevation. It just seems like you're placing the rectangle one top of the other. So how do you change this? How do you change this view? So I am using a mouse, so it'll be easier for me, but you'll have to figure it out if you're using a touch panel on your laptop. So if you're using the mouse, just press on the scroll button, so it changes to the hand mode. So now I click on shift and scroll button. This time it changes the dimension, so you can see the elevation. uh, uh, you can see it's been elevated according to the dimensions that I have given. So this is a really interesting part of AutoCAD about a rectangle. I really like this. It'll be useful when you are drawing machines of the way of this. If this is necessary for the machine, maybe you can draw it for those. So how do I change this back? Like I told you in the beginning, just click on the control view and click on top. You get back to the rectangle. Yeah. So elevation is done. Again, don't forget, go back to rectangle mode, go to elevations and make it 0, or else your rectangle will not be on the ground level. It will be 50 units above the ground. So you're supposed to make it 0 in order to make the elevation, so that you get back your normal rectangle. So coming to thickness, I'll just make it maybe 30, and then I draw a rectangle. Again, same, shift, I'll change. I can see the thickness of the rectangle. So yeah, this is how you can inculcate thickness. Change it back again, top. So the last variant is width. Which is basically you just have to, oh, I did not change back my command for thickness, or else the rectangle is just going to stay, the width will just remain that way. So I need to change it to 0. Very important concept. That's the reason why I took rectangle very specifically. If you don't change back the dimensions, the rectangle will just stick to the previous command and you won't get your desired model. So you have to change it back to 0, then only you can draw your rectangle again from the beginning. So you click on width, I'll make it 20. So I draw my rectangle. So the width will be thick. So all the rectangles that I draw will have the same thickness. So don't forget. Get back to the rectangle command, click on width, make it 0. So you get back the rectangle. So this is a very important command which I'm telling you on repeat again and again, because many people have actually faced many difficulties by not following that specific small step, and they had to face a lot of difficulties later. And even though they do complex modeling, such a small step, such a small minor, this costed them a lot. So this is all about rectangle. So yeah, so that was the session, and I hope you guys had collected sufficient information that was provided from the session. So I am, if there's any doubts, you guys can ask me right now. Okay, so I am just assuming that the session went really well because no one is asking me any doubts. Fine. So, well, I think we'll end the AutoCAD session right now, and I hope you guys had. Yeah. Feel free to ask your doubt, guys. Yeah, please ask. I think we are planned to keep an interaction session right now. So,
Well, so if you guys have any doubts, you can ask here or you can approach us later. And I think, okay, there will be a next section on sculpt on Acacia, which will be taken by Gopinath at 7 o'clock. So stay tuned, guys, for the updates. There will be a second event at 7 o'clock again.